everyone! Welcome to Spooky Sundays with Sophia! For today's video, I'm starting a series called Spooky Sundays with Sophia. This series is gonna go every Sunday. I'm gonna try every Sunday from September to the end of October. So it's gonna range from anything spooky, Halloween, fall related. So I'm thinking it's going to be just a bunch of things ranging from scary stories, scary true stories, my ghost experiences, spooky DIYs, even food related fall things, you know, like making spooky pumpkin spice loaf. I don't know. You know, I love Halloween. This is like my favorite season, so I really want to bring you guys in this with me, and I really want to just enjoy this to the fullest. For my first video, I'm not going to go all out. I'm going to do a spooky Halloween tag, basically. I'm just going to answer a few spooky questions for you guys. So before I get started on this tag, I would love you guys to comment down below ideas that you would like to see in the series. So for instance, it could be like a carving pumpkins episode or a ghost story experience that I've had. It can literally be anything. Halloween, fall, ghost, spooky books, anything related. So please do me a favor and comment down below things you would like to see, and I will get started on the spooky tag. So first question is going to be favorite horror or Halloween themed song. So I can't pick, just one. Hello, Winston. Sorry, just don't mind him. I have a bunch. To name a few, definitely the entire Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. That soundtrack is so damn good, but probably my favorite song is This Is Halloween, just because it gives me spooky vibes. Like every Halloween morning, I always blast that and I'm just like, this is Halloween, this is Halloween. Good times. Next spooky song would probably be Spooky Scary Skeletons. That one's just a classic. It's hilarious. I love it. And definitely the Dead Silence theme song. Dead Silence is a horror movie that is pretty freaking scary. The theme song used to be my phone ringtone for a few years, and it used to freak the hell out of everyone. Let's move on to the second question. Favorite horror monster or villain? That's hard. There's a lot. I think Sweeney Todd, even though he's not really considered a villain. If you guys know the story, he was kind of getting revenge. He was a very dark figure. Also, the It Clown is pretty freaking spookily awesome. Spookily, that's not a word, but it is now. Ursula, the sea witch from The Little Mermaid. She's like my favorite villain ever. Like when I was a kid, I didn't want to be Ariel. I wanted to be Ursula. She was freaking awesome. And Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Even though he's a crazy, insane serial killer weirdo, he's still pretty interesting, especially when Christian Bale plays him. So next question is gonna be, if you were given the death penalty, what would your last meal be? I actually haven't thought about this a lot. Like, I have so many options. What food makes me the happiest? After much given thought, I think I'm gonna go with pizza and a side of blondies for dessert. Those are great. Next question, would you spend a full night inside a haunted house if someone paid you? Bitch, I'd do it for free. Have you ever had an unexplainable experience with the supernatural? Yes, I actually have, and it was a really spooky experience. I'll never forget it. Even though the memory like keeps fading and I keep thinking maybe it wasn't real, it felt very real when it happened. It happened when I was around 11, and it was pretty freaking terrifying. I'm actually going to have a story time about this in one of my spooky segments, so look out for that, guys. I'm literally so awkward. Next question, I keep saying that a lot. Which horror movie scarred you for life? I don't know if I've been scarred to life by a horror movie because I'm literally the horror queen and like horror movies don't really scare me, but there is one movie, well, there's a few, but this one distinct movie called Hide and Seek. It's with Dakota Fanning when she was a little girl, and I don't know what it is about that movie, Actually, I do know what it is about that movie. So my mom was watching it with her sister, and it was around 12 a.m. I snuck downstairs and I hid behind the wall in our house and watched the entire movie with them. I was literally terrified, but also really intrigued because I've always loved horror movies. And it's just something about that movie. If you guys have seen it, you know like the ending is pretty crazy. I'll remember that movie forever. What do you think hell looks like? Okay, so this is a hard one. If there was a hell, I don't think it would be fiery pits and torture and stabbing. I think it would be worse. It would involve just kind of like an infinity loop of just suffering, but not like a fiery pits of hell suffering, but like your own suffering. Something that scares you, something that you've gone through in real life, something that just fucking scares the shit out of you, happening over and over and over and over again. And that shit scares me the most. On a lighter note, what is the scariest horror game you have ever played? So I don't really play video games because I literally have zero patience. Like, if I die once, I'm just like, that's it, fuck it, no, that's it. But my boyfriend Harrison plays a lot of games, and for Christmas I got him the Resident Evil game. It was the new Resident Evil game. I watched him play the whole thing. It was really freaking awesome. I really recommend that game. What is your favorite season of American Horror Story? This is the easiest question I've ever had to answer in my entire life. 100 gazillion% Asylum. Like, is that even a question? Who else would not pick Asylum? The first one is okay, but Asylum was just so freaking perfect. Everything about Asylum was just really awesome. And then Coven was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my freaking life. If you liked it, I'm sorry, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. What's your favorite part about Halloween? Everything. The food, the drinks, the candy, the decor, the spooky vibes, literally just everything. Do you prefer gore or thrillers? Probably thrillers, because I feel like gore movies don't really have a story behind them. It's just like slashing and blood and everything, which I like too, but I prefer a spooky psychological story behind it, and thrillers do that for me. Would you rather go to a Halloween party or trick-or-treating? Trick-or-treating. Are you the one who gets scared or the one who does the scaring? I'm definitely the one who does the scaring. How old were you when you saw your first horror movie? I do not remember. I've watched horror movies like my entire life. I've literally used to wait for my mom to go to sleep so I can like turn on the TV and watch a horror movie. Or if a horror movie was playing, I would just stay up all night and watch it. If you could have a spooky Halloween pet, brackets, black cat, owl, bat, rat, wolf, what would you pick? Guys, I already have my spooky Halloween pet. Duh. If you got trapped in one scary movie, which would you choose? Huh. I honestly don't know. Maybe I'd pick Scream, because it's not like that scary. Favorite scary book. The first book that comes to mind when I think of favorite scary book is actually the book called Wait Till Helen Comes. I read it when I was around 11 years old. I lived in Texas at the time, and I picked it up at the school library. It looked pretty spooky. Even though it's a kid's book, it's really well written. It's about a little girl who is part of a step family, and she moves to this like house that used to be a church, and she meets this little ghost girl called Helen. And the two girls, Heather and Helen, have a lot in common. They've both lost their parents, and Helen kind of like manipulates her into wanting to die. It's really crazy, and I highly recommend it. Best way to spend a rainy fall day. We'll do two versions of this. One, an exciting fall day, and one, a lazy fall day. So for the exciting fall day, I think I would probably wake up, go to Barnes & Noble or a library, get a pumpkin chai or pumpkin spiced tea or coffee, whatever, and sit with my cozy, spooky book with Harrison there for a few hours, just reading, relaxing. And then after Barnes & Noble, go and get some Halloween cookies, have some of those. Maybe go to a pumpkin patch, pick out a pumpkin, go to the movie theater, watch a spooky movie, you know, stuff like that. And for the lazy fall day, maybe cuddle up with some blankets, some tea, watch my favorite spooky movie, probably Hocus Pocus, and eat a lot of pumpkin pie. That would be freaking awesome. S'mores or pumpkin pie? I literally just talked about pumpkin pie, that's so funny. But definitely pumpkin pie. I love me some pumpkin pie. Favorite spoopy movie? So spoopy is like spooky, but not really. So it would involve like kid Halloween movies, kind of. I have literally so many of those. I don't even know what I like better, spoopy movies or actually spooky movies. They both have just, I love them both so much. The first one that comes to mind is obviously Hocus Pocus, like classic. Halloween Town, I remember like coming to America and watching these like Disney Channel Halloween movies and just being so cozy. I love like this feeling inside of me right now, just thinking about that. Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, that's like my favorite cartoon probably of all time. Casper, freaking love that movie with Christina Ricci. It's such a good movie. And I remember watching this movie when I was like in middle school. It's called My Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. I'm pretty sure it's a Disney original movie, and that movie was so freaking good. I love that movie. That's very spoopy and awesome. What's something you would love to do for Halloween? I feel like Halloween is not as fun as just basically the whole month of October itself. Every time the actual day comes, I kind of just get a little let down because it's just either like we're invited to this like crazy party with like a bunch of drunk people, or I just stay home and watch a horror movie, which is also good. But what I wish would happen is me to have a Halloween party, but not a freaking party like crazy people like drinking and shit, but like a spooky party where everyone's like dressed up, not slutty, but like actual, we put like a lot of thought into our costume. I mean, if you dress slutty on Halloween, I have too, girl, like there's no problem with that. But for my party, I would rather it be spooky, and there's like jars of candy everywhere. There's like a projector with horror movies playing or spoopy movies. There's music. There's like all my close friends. I have 1 or 2, but if I had more friends, that would be pretty cool. Favorite Tim Burton movie? That's easy. Sweeney Todd. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. And favorite musical, and just favorite songs and soundtrack. It's just awesome. At what age did you stop trick-or-treating? At 20. I'm 21 now, and I didn't trick-or-treat last year, but I trick-or-treated the year before that. I love trick-or-treating, and I'm really sad that I can't anymore. Honestly, like the only reason I even want to have a kid is so I can take it trick-or-treating so I can steal its candy. Just kidding. Favorite stuff to eat on Halloween? Lots and lots and lots of candy. If you knew that the next costume you wore turned into the character that you dressed up as, what would you wear? My favorite books when I was a teen, early teen, were the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead, and my favorite character was Rose Hathaway. She is the freaking coolest character of all time. She's a vampire slayer, but she also protects vampires. She slays like the bad ones called Strigoi, and she protects the good ones called Moroi, and one of her best friends is a Moroi. And she has a love interest called Dimitri Belikub, which I was literally in love with Dimitri Belikub, like in love. So I would definitely want to be her. That would be pretty sick, even though she does go through a lot of bullshit in her life. I think that was the last question. Yeah, that was the last question. So guys, that's it for the first episode of Spooky Sundays with Sophia. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really excited for the series, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.